Hello, this is Douglas Robinson with Trebuchet Software, and in this video we're going to talk about the most elegant solution I've found so far for getting a AutoNumber property into a field using LibreOffice Base. Now, if you're using LibreOffice Base by default, when you set up a table and you declare the primary key, you can generally say, hey, this primary key uses something called an AutoNumber, which is basically it keeps track of what the highest value is and it adds one. We're using a Firebird database here and an external one, and it seems like it doesn't show us the option to do that even though we have our primary key here. So the solution I've found so far for this is, I honestly don't remember which table I was going to do this on. I think it was this one. The solution I've found for this is basically that we're going to change the text box that we had for this primary key. I put it on the forum earlier, and basically something earlier I had tried is setting up a macro. I think I've gotten rid of that since. But basically we're going to convert this to a combo box to where we have a drop down for it. And we're going to make the only option in the drop down come from a SQL query. And then we're going to have that SQL query populate what would have been the AutoNumber value. And here's what we'll enter in for that. So we're going to select max of our field. In this case, my field is rec ID +1 from, and then I believe our table here is UAT issues. And I'll go ahead and run this real quick. I don't think I actually have anything in there. Oh, no, I do. From UAT issues. Okay, awesome. So the record I have in there right now, I think has a random number of 150. So this just added 1 to it. So then I'm going to go ahead and save that as my query, and that'll show up in the drop down here. And then as a convenience thing, I'm going to turn mouse wheel scroll to always. Now what that's going to do for us, if I close this out and save it, and I open it up, what that will do is it will let me just immediately scroll a value in here. So like, let's say I'm working on this form and I'm ready to save, boop, I just mouse over and do my scroll wheel and it sets the first value from that dropdown. Since it's the only value in that dropdown, you can't really go wrong with it. And then that kind of works around the annoyance of me having to figure out how many records are in here and then adding one and making sure I have a unique primary key value. My previous attempt in the previous video was, hey, I'll just build a macro that generates a random number that should more or less be unique. But I like this idea better because now the numbers will actually be sequential. Um, Potential consequence is if you go and delete a record that was at the very end, now you have another item that's reusing a primary key from before. But aside from that, that doesn't actually cause any problems. It's just if you link to a record, let's say this is becoming a blog on a website, you're now linking to a different value from that primary key. But aside from that, this is a convenient workaround for that issue for me, and I'm very happy about it. Thanks. Bye.